Welcome back for another video. With the international break ahead of us, it's a good opportunity to wildcard if your team needs it. You can jump on the turn in fixtures, you can catch some price rises and obviously avoid price falls and drop some underperforming players. If you've already used your wildcard or if you're saving it for a later week, if nothing else, this video will be good guidance on which players to consider for the coming weeks. If you like the FPL content, hit subscribe for more every game week. So let's get straight into the team, and in goal it's Matt Turner, who's just risen to 4.1 mil, but he's still a great enabler at that price. There were concerns that he might lose his spot after a ropey game against Brentford a couple of weeks back, but he got the start against Palace and as we hoped kept a clean sheet, with Palace expected to struggle for goals while Eze's out injured for a while. In defence it's Cash, Porro and Burn. Cash is top in the league for expected goal involvement among all defenders still, even above Trippier, with 3.84 XGI. Sometimes he's even deployed out of position in right mid, and he plays like a right winger at times. Villa have got West Ham, which isn't the easiest fixture after the break, but the next four are the best block of fixtures among all teams, with Luton, Forest and Fulham to follow. Once upon a time, Cash put up one of the biggest FPL scores of all time with 29 points in a double game week a couple of years back. He's got the upside, and he is a priority transfer this week. Very easy switch to make if you're selling a Stupinan. Porro's also got a ton of upside. Against Luton, he racked up 0.36 XG, and he had a really good chance to put Tottenham ahead, which he put narrowly wide, which Son actually played through. He pops up in the same sort of areas as Cash, and in my eyes he's got a haul in him over the next few weeks. I prefer him to Udogie. Porro's taken 11 shots to Udogie's 1, 21 crosses to Udogie's 7, and he's created 10 chances versus Udogie's 7. More touches in the final third as well, so everything points towards Porro. We've got Burn as the third defender, but Botman should be back after the break, so if that's the case, he perhaps edges it over Burn for 0.1 mil more. However, Botman is close to a price fall, so don't buy him now, wait for that to happen first. Again, these are the sort of opportunities in a wildcard that are small, but they do help improve your team value. And as we said, Palace are without Eze for a while, so there's great clean sheet potential in this one. Trippier is the obvious player missing in this defence. It ultimately depends on what you spread that money around to. If you prefer Trippier, then you could just downgrade one of the midfielders. The midfield is Salah, Son, Maddison, Bowen and Gordon. Bowen versus Diaby is really close. You can free up about 0.6 mil by going for Diaby instead. However, Bowen's talismanic for West Ham, and he allows you to spread your risk around rather than going all in on Villa. After 8 game weeks, Bowen has put up superior numbers, 4.35 expected goal involvement to Diaby's 2.59. The trade-off is you've got Bowen versus Cash in Game Week 9, which isn't ideal. Fulham's 15.75 expected goals conceded ranks 17th in the league, so it's a Spurs double up on the wildcard. Unfortunately for Maddison and Son owners, Bissouma's red card changed the game against Luton, so we'll never know how they would have fared 11v11. No cause for panic after one blank for Son. He's even a captain shout for Game Week 9. Hopefully he can use the international break to recover from the minor injury he's been carrying. Salah's also a captain shout, and we've got the vice captaincy on him. 15 points against Brighton, his biggest score of the season so far, and he's only blanked once all season, or arguably he's not blanked at all in footballing terms given the VAR mistake, chalking off that assist he got for Diaz. Everton, Forest and Luton next. He's basically essential on a wildcard with those fixtures, and he's still relatively low ownership. And despite that, he's the joint top scoring player in FPL right now, along with Watkins. Gordon returns from his one match suspension after 5 yellows, and he's going to need 10 yellows in total now before he gets a further suspension. Perfect differential to sprinkle into a wildcard at 5.3% ownership, and he's got Palace home next, followed by Wolves, Arsenal and Bournemouth. I've picked out some other popular midfielders to compare him to here in terms of minutes per expected goal involvement. For 5.6 mil, he has an expected goal involvement every 189 minutes, which is better than Odegaard, Diaby and Martinelli, and he's not far behind Bowen, Ward-Prowse and Rashford, all of which cost more. Barnes is injured potentially until the new year, so he's a reliable starter now as well. Up top we've got Haaland and Watkins. So let's talk Haaland first. Back-to-back blanks in the league. Those that gambled on no Haaland in Game Week 8 were rewarded, but in my eyes that ship sailed now. With Brighton, Man United and Bournemouth next, he has to be in. Rodri has clearly been a massive miss for them, who has served his 3-match suspension now and he's back for the Brighton game. You could easily argue that with all that in mind, Haaland's the best captain in Game Week 9. Brighton will still be without Stupinan after the break. We saw De Zerbi using March in left back. Haaland's not one to be selling now. Since Emery took charge of Villa, only Haaland and Salah have got more attacking returns than Watkins. Another assist in Game Week 8 puts him joint top with Salah on points this season. 3 home fixtures in the next 4. He's got West Ham, Luton, Forest and then Fulham. Absolute no-brainer on a wildcard. Darwin and Alvarez, both great picks, for a bit cheaper, but Watkins looks like the superior option right now. On the bench is Areola, Gabriel, Taylor and Archer. I was at the Arsenal vs Man City game. Haaland didn't take a single shot at goal. 0 XG, and that's testament to Gabriel and Saliba, who were absolutely elite that game. Gabriel's fallen all the way down to 4.7 mil now, so somewhat cheaper than Saliba, and they're about equal. So he's an absolute bargain, and the second best defence in the league in terms of XGC. You'd have to give him a start over Burn in Game Week 10 when they're home to Sheffield United. With that said, you could make the case for getting Saka over Maddison on the wildcard with that Sheffield United game in mind, or alternatively just ensure you've got the money to make that switch, perhaps from Maddison. So that's another reason why Diaby or Ward-Prowse over Bowen might be something to weigh up. Saka will miss the international break, he won't be joining up with the England squad, but I fully expect him to be back after the break. One player that I really wanted to squeeze into the team but couldn't was Foster instead of Archer. Burnley the much better team in attack, and individually Foster's better, but it's a 0.5 mil difference, and realistically you might not start Foster much anyway. But it'd be a class option to have off the bench when there's inevitable surprise injuries and benchings elsewhere. I'm interested to know your early thoughts on Game Week 9 captaincy, let us know in the comments. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed the video, there's more to come later in the break. Enjoy the break everyone, see you soon for the next one.